I'm Stupski, and welcome to Synergistic Selling, where we're going to look at all of the parts of the sale and help you move them together as one, ultimately leading to you closing more deals. And today is episode 1. We're going to be focusing on stop selling. Now, what I want to do in this episode is share with you my top 3 favorite tips to stop selling and actually close more deals. Now, we know for a fact that amateur salespeople want to consistently just ram down how great their solution is to the prospect without actually listening to them and understanding why they're there. And it's your responsibility as a good salesperson to be able to provide sales as a service, not sales to make a sale and make commission. When we start coming from that point, the integrity of the sale is lost, the trust is going to be broken. And so what I want to do with you is share my top 3 favorite tips to stop selling, start listening, and become a salesperson of ethics and from a point of service. So tip number 1 is going to be listening better. We know it's our responsibility to understand the prospect's pain points, frustrations, where they're coming from, and what we can do to ultimately lend a helping hand and help them alleviate the pain that they came to the encounter with. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is start thinking about what are some really strong questions that you should be asking that are non-negotiables in the discovery process. So what I mean by that is you don't move out of the discovery process until you have absolute clarity around what the answers to those 5 to 6 anchor questions are. And I also want you to start thinking about, what does your solution do? Who does it serve? How long does it take until they start getting results? What are some type of results that you're seeing? What type of impact and benefit can it provide them? And now we can start instituting some questions around the solution as well. So I want you to think, why would somebody want to use your solution? What challenges do you think they're facing right now? Why should they get started at this stage of the game, not kick the can down the road and wait a little bit longer? What type of benefit would it have on them personally, on their business? How much more money would they be making? How much more of pain would they not have by using the solution? And why is it deep down that they're looking to solve the problem that they have? And I think most importantly, why not stay where they are? If you can get those type of questions answered with clarity, you're going to draw up the emotion and create a gap of they don't know what they're doing, they came to you for a solution, and now you have their attention. One thing I want to say in regards to listening better and asking better questions is that you're going to be perceived as an expert by the questions that you ask, not the information that you give. Really want you to think about that. The better the questions you ask, the more of an expert you're going to be perceived as, not so much the rambling of information that you might provide in your air quotes, pitch. Which leads me to the second tip, and that's going to be features and benefits. We also know, talked about this a couple seconds ago, amateurs ramble about the information that they have about their product or service, telling how great it is and all the features and the benefits. Features and benefits play a huge role in the presentation. Otherwise, how do people know what they're going to be spending their hard-earned money on? What I want to encourage you to do is start thinking about how can you have an engaging conversation back and forth with more questions so that your prospect not only has comprehension of what it is your solution does, but there is a compliance metric involved in the decision-making process as well. When we can get people to get from a point of comprehension and compliance, we know that they start to take mental ownership, visual ownership over what it is that you are selling. They can see themselves actually using it, which pushes the sale that much further along and closer to closing. So an example for this would be if you're selling a fitness or weight loss transformation type program and you're going over the nutritional aspect of the program, instead of telling, let's say for example, Mrs. Smith that the nutrition plan is going to provide you with a macronutrient profile, you're going to be eating this much protein and this much fat and this much carbs, and you're going to be doing this much cardio because when we do it in this sequence of timing, it helps burn more fat, blah, 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 blah. It's just going to create a lot of thought process. And the more thinking that people have to do, the more I need to think about it and the more objections you're going to get at the end of the sale because they're just not sure if that's something that they want to do. Instead, what I'm going to encourage you to do is start taking bits and pieces of the, let's say, for example, the nutrition plan that we're just talking about and being able to ask the prospect what they would need out of a solution. And more than likely, I'm sure it's going to align with what it is that you're providing. Example would be, Mrs. Smith, we know that abs are made in the kitchen, right? And they're going to say, yeah, of course. Cool. When it comes to nutrition plan, we want to keep things as simple and streamlined as possible. So let me ask you a question. Would you prefer to have a nutrition plan that is going to be templated and basic, something that you can rip off of Google and print off and just kind of follow along? Or would you prefer me to customize something for you so we can really optimize the results? More than likely, they're going to say, give me a customized plan. Absolutely, Mrs. Smith, not a problem. A couple more questions regarding nutrition plan. When we're getting the plan situated, what's 2 to 3 foods that I need to absolutely avoid to avoid this being miserable for you? And she's going to tell you the 2 to 3 foods. Cool. Totally understand. We'll make sure that we do not put those into the plan. Now, on the flip side, Mrs. Smith, what are 2 to 3 foods that you absolutely cannot live without? Cool. A, B, and C. You got it. We're going to mix those in as well so you can enjoy this process, because the last thing I want is to have this be miserable. So, Mrs. Smith, what I'm understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're looking for a customized plan that's going to avoid A, B, and C, but must include X, Y, and Z. And if we can put you in a situation where it's simple and easy to follow, like playing connect the dots when you're a kid, and it included all of those elements, that you wouldn't have any problem following it, would you? And now we're getting comprehension because she's thinking it through, and we're also getting compliance because she's going to go, yes, I can follow that. Of course she can follow that. She just told you that's what she was looking for. So that is step number 2. Features and benefits have their place, but get an engaging conversation going that is focused on comprehension and compliance. And that leads me to my last and final tip for you today, and that is prospects' beliefs. A lot of prospects come to the calls with these preconceived notions and beliefs around buying. And so a lot of the times they've been either told by people, that salespeople are just out for commission checks, which I think a lot of them are, which gives sales a bad name. They might have been burned before, so they come in very timid around the sales process and not making a decision. Nope, not going to do it because I looked at cars before and the last car salesman sold me a lemon, right? We don't want to deal with that. And so what we have to do is really focus in on how can we start knocking out beliefs and stacking on as much positives as we possibly can throughout the encounter. Now, there's a likability factor in there, right? You can't just be a jerk and expect to get the sale, but that's not all in terms of closing. What we have to also look at is, who are we serving? What are some typical beliefs that people come to the call with? Is it process oriented? You as a salesperson, are you bringing these negative beliefs on yourself? Start recording and listening to your calls. And if you start seeing the most consistent beliefs come up time and time and time again, it might be something that you're doing. But if you're seeing it from an industry standard, what I want you to do is take a list, write down the list of the beliefs that you consistently encounter during the sales meetings, and start knocking them out. Start writing how you can overcome these beliefs so that you can address them early in the sale and not have to play tug of war, hand-to-hand combat at the end of the sale when you're asking for the close. So those are my 3 tips for you today in terms of helping you stop selling and also put yourself on the path to closing more deals. It is listening better. Have an engaging conversation around your solution, not just focus on features and benefits, and also understanding the prospect's beliefs and helping you get out in front of those to help overcome preconceived notions, people who have been burned before, industry standards, or things that you actually might be doing in the sales process that is hurting your chances of closing the deal. So I truly appreciate you tuning in today. If you loved it, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, send it to your friends, give me a follow. If you hated it, do me a favor, send it to your enemies. Much love. I'll see you on the next episode.